Dan, we appreciate you making some time for us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start with the game from Sunday. How are you feeling after the second win of the year?
Look, I always feel good after a win. They're hard to come by in this league, and I tell you what really, what makes you feel good is to know the type of game we were going to need to play to beat that opponent. It was going to be a little bit of a, lunch pail, hard hat type game, man, dirty work in the trenches, and it was going to require everybody, receivers, DBs, the whole deal. And I tell you what, they responded in a huge way. I thought our big set the tone, and we played a rugged physical game, man, for that win. Proud of them.
And I mean, nobody's going to complain about a win. We always have some questions. What was the difference in the second half, specifically the third quarter, versus the first, where you scored on the first two possessions? It seemed like you were able to move the ball consistently, and then the second half, in the third quarter, it wasn't as consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you can go through the drives. It was one thing here, one thing there. I mean, you come out and, we're in a 3rd and 1, and then we have a false start. Backs us up, and so I would have felt pretty confident about getting that first down. Then you get in a 3rd and 6, we end up, we don't convert on it. You come back on the next possession, and we throw an interception. We just, they ran a kind of a change pressure, so, a couple errors there, a couple different guys. We come back out, defense gets a huge stop. Carlton makes that huge play on 4th and 1. I felt like that was a critical play in the game. And I also felt like that was the time when we needed to finish this game. It was where you felt like we could have tried to put them away there. And, man, we get in a 4th and 1, and it's really the one play the whole game where we get knocked back, up front. And so we get, we don't convert there. And so it was just kind of one thing after another. But, I thought we started outstanding. I thought the offense set the tone, that whole line did. And then I thought defense, man, finished it. And special teams in the second half. So it was a total team effort. I was proud of those guys.
You've been a team that's won a lot with offense. Are you starting to be the type of team that can also win with defense now?
Absolutely. We can win any way we need to win, and that's what you love, man. When you have 3 units that are playing in sync, and you have the ability to play any type of game you need to, depending on what's going on, or if one unit needs a little bit of pick-me-up at different times, that's a good feeling. And I feel like that's what we got. Our defense is playing at a very high level. They have for 3 weeks going now. AG's doing an outstanding job. And those guys understand the plan, what it's going to take to defend the opponent. And we're playing physical, violent, smart, disciplined football right now. And they're a difference maker, man. They are. And offensively, there's always things that we're going to want to clean up, but the objective is to score more than the opponent. Our defense can't allow them to score more than our offense, and that's what's going on right now.
I know when I was playing, there's always things that happen on the field that you got to laugh at in the moment. And I don't know if you saw it or even understood it at the time, but David Montgomery picking up 6 yards with his feet not even touching the ground. What was your reaction, and what was David's reaction when he came to the sideline?
Well, Look, really that whole game, just the nature of that, but even that play is like mother's milk when you're a baby. You want to know the truth. It was just, it's food for the soul. It was outstanding. That guy fought for every blade of grass, and then your old line is just surging. And they finished, and really the whole game was that way. Our backs were driving for every yard, and then you see here comes the O-line, here comes St. Brown, our tight ends. Everybody is just pushing the pile. And that one, hell, we got 16 yards on that. That's nothing but willpower and effort, and it was awesome.
We're talking to Lions head coach Dan Campbell. What are you still chuckling over the?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Dan, we want to get some updates on some injuries. I know you spoke yesterday with the media on most of these guys, but Frank Ragnow, we saw the report, torn pec week to week. We know he's tough. Is the thought maybe rest him with the bye week looming, or do you think the plan is to play him for the upcoming game?
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, Frank is stubborn, all right? He's hard-headed, Frank, and he's tough, he's stubborn, and so, he wants to go, and he always wants to go. But this is something we're still talking about right now. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do with him. A lot of it is where is he going to feel by, middle or end of the week. But he does have something in there, and he did play through some of this last week, and so we'll do what's best for him and what's best for us in the moment, ultimately. But you know how I feel about Frank. We all do. Appreciate the heck out of him. He's tough, man.
Marcus Davenport, it sounds like you mentioned that he's going to be out for the rest of the year. Who, other than Josh Paschal, who helps fill that void? And is there any chance we see a little bit more James Houston?
Well, I don't know that yet. Like, I would tell you this, Pascal's going to take on a much bigger load. Mm-hmm. Pascal's going to be, obviously he and Hutch are your ends. Levi's going to need to do some of that, which he did in training camp. There's a good chance, we could bring somebody up off the vet squad or the practice squad. Houston could be a candidate. So we know we're going to need to bring in some reinforcements for sure, just losing that body. And Davenport was playing at a high level. Mm-hmm. It hurts. It does. It hurts losing him. He's been a force in there, but it's why you have the depth that we have and the players that we've acquired. Brad's done a hell of a job, and we've always identified that depth is important, man, and you got to have it. So we have guys that we know are going to step up and do a hell of a job for us. They're ready for it, and everybody in this building knows, like, you are one play away, and it's your chance. It's your opportunity to help your team and showcase what you got.
James Houston, healthy scratch for the 2 of the 3 games this season. There's maybe a disconnect from fans to the way that you guys have deployed him this season. I don't know that I consider him in the doghouse, but you don't seem like he's maybe the next guy up. Where does he need to get to maybe be the pass rusher he was at the end of 22?
No, I think he just keeps working, and there again, it's so much of it is who do you sit if he comes? Everybody that we have up right now is playing at a pretty high level on defense, and they all have a role, between defense and special teams. So that's kind of where it's been. As long as he just keeps working and and when he gets his opportunity, make the most of them. As with any player here.
Monday night, there's plenty of juice there. The black uniforms, which I know that you were a big proponent of, we were told yesterday, there's plenty of juice there. Seattle, outside the division, they're a team that has kind of been the nemesis. Is there a little extra juice knowing that it's Seattle coming to town?
Well, yeah, it'd be nice to beat these guys since we haven't done it. I mean, they've been one of those teams that's kind of had our number, but I think more importantly, it's for the win itself. Coach Carroll's gone, and it's a brand new regime over there. There's a lot of new players. There are some holdovers, but I do kind of feel like, man, this really is a different team, new team that we're getting ready to face. They're playing good football. As you said, they're undefeated here. And so this is a good opponent coming in here, man. They play outstanding defense. They're going to grind it out on the ground. Walker's a hell of a back, and then Geno's, he's playing well. They got the receivers, so this is going to be a pretty big test for us.
Obviously, there's been improvement in the secondary from last year to this year, and you just mentioned it. How big of a test will this be with Metcalf, in Jigba, all of the receivers that they have for Terrion Arnold and the cast of characters that you guys have in the secondary?
Yeah, it'll be big. I mean, it's another group of good receivers that it's time to face, and they got good players. They got a mixture of different types of players, like you said, between Metcalf and Jigba and those guys. I mean, they all kind of do different things, and they're playing pretty well. But, man, I love where we're at, man. I love our secondary. I think CD is playing at a high level. I thought he had an outstanding game yesterday or 2 days ago. You know, I think Terrion Arnold gets better every week. I think Amik is getting better, man. He's playing in the slot. I think he's competitive, outstanding cover man. And then our safeties are playing at a high level. And I think collectively, the more they play together, the better that unit is gonna be on the back end. So we continue to grow. They continue to get better. And then collectively, it's only gonna get better. Time on task, and those guys communicate and playing with each other.
It's Lions head coach Dan Campbell. We're all excited for Monday night. Appreciate some of your time.
Absolutely. You guys take care.
Thanks. It's 97.1.